I welcome all of you on behalf of ReeLabs. ReeLabs has been consistently putting up webinars every Saturday on an interesting topic, which we hope will improve your health quotient and the health quotient of your loved ones. So a little introduction about Dr. Isha. She's a physiotherapist and a women's coach and a nutritionist. She has an experience of 12 long years, and she's coached thousands of parents in the journey of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. And she's also the co-founder of ThoughtFoodzZ, Proactive 9, and Bump to Birth. And lastly, she's a mother of two beautiful daughters. So she has a whole volume of experience on all fronts to help us out today on all our questions regarding general health, on the well-being, our well-being, how nutrition influences it, how the gut is actually the very basis of good health for everybody, and of course, postpartum well-being through nutrition, and pregnancy well-being through nutrition, and weaning queries. So we are going to be discussing a lot of interesting topics. So do stay tuned. Over to you, Dr. Isha.
Thank you so much, Saloni, and thank you so much, ReeLabs, for inviting me and getting this started. So before I go ahead, am I absolutely audible and clear? If you can give me a quick thumbs up.
Yes, you're absolutely audible. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. And before I move ahead, I can just see names and no faces. So I can see Anvita, Barkha, Bhav, Jay, Natasha, Nidhi, Roma, Saloni. Can I see your beautiful faces if you don't mind? Believe me, the entire class would be very interesting for you. I'm going to begin in the next minute. Thank you, Roma, for starting your video. I would request each one of you. It should not be a boring, mundane, online session where just the speaker is talking and nobody's enjoying. I want you all to feel the session. I want you all to benefit the maximum. And believe me, the more I see faces, the better even my entire, presentation would be. So here I begin. I can see many videos turning on. Am I enabled to be the host? Can I start sharing the screen? All right. And in the meantime, hello Anvita, hello Nidhi. So I will say hello to all the faces that I can see. And as they're popping up, I can see those beautiful smiles coming up. And yes, let me share the presentation here. Going to talk about me, what I do, how are you going to benefit, everything with this. Okay, so all of you, can you all see the presentation? If yes, and me very clear, can I have a quick thumbs up? Lovely. And that's all about me. Saloni has beautifully, elaborated about what do I do, but just, visual presentation of the same. Have been into pregnancy and birthing and postpartum in the last 12 years, and it's actually my passion more than my profession, because I understand the entire need, how it's important to handheld mothers right from the beginning, because you sometimes just feel lost, you sometimes feel very sensitive, emotional, you just don't know what is happening. Today's session is going to take care about one of those segments. Here I begin. These are my two beautiful daughters whom I never forget to show in any of my presentation, because they are my teachers. They have grown old now. This is, before COVID, and they are my bigger teachers, and they have taught me so many things which I'm going to share. This is not just about pregnancy, today's class, but it's going to be really helpful to you, to anybody who is focusing on conscious nutrition or better nutrition. So here I go. Just a little highlight about pregnancy. Happy pregnancy only comes in when you have positive experience, and only this comes in when you have a holistic approach. And that only happens with these elements: physical, mental, emotional, nutritional, labor preparation, post-birth guidance. Today's session is only on nutrition. Nutrition, as I mentioned, is not just that you're pregnant and you should be focusing on. It can be to anybody who is not even pregnant. It can be anybody who is old, who's going to start solids, and many other things. So here, before I dive into the nutritional tips, let me take you through the non-nutritional tips. What are those? Number one, posture. For all of you who are sitting slouched, incorrect, get your seats up. Make sure that you're sitting right, because if you don't sit right, especially when you're pregnant, I can see Anvita, getting her chair and the entire posture right. Great going. If you don't sit right, this is what happens in pregnancy to the baby. Is the alignment of the baby is adjusted in a way that the baby doesn't grow better. So yes, it's not just for your back and your neck and your entire alignment, but also for your baby's alignment and growth. So sit right for that reason. So whatever you're eating, you want that to reach the baby and grow well, then you need to sit right. Beyond that, most of the digestive issues that I've seen in my experience, they only and only come through, non-chewing. I think Sweet Simple Singh, you are raising your hand. I would be welcoming all the questions. In a bit, I'm just going to open up, the window where you are, freely interacting with me, asking all your questions. In the meantime, please note it down. I'm right here to answer all of them. Chewing. So chewing is something is very, very important. If you don't do your work right from the mouth, then your entire digestion is going to go off. So please remember that chew, chew, chew so that you're not constipated, acidity, diarrhea, indigestion, gas, flatulence, all these issues will go by the way. Hydration. It's one of the most important nutrient which we sometimes forget, as Barkha is drinking water. Yes, remember, always sip water. It is very, very important to keep sipping water through the day, around 3 liters. Baby talk. I don't know how many of you know about this, the magic of talking to the baby, of which also comes when you are focusing on your nutrition. So whatever that you're eating, talk about that to the baby, one line. I'm eating an orange, great in vitamin C. That's it if you want to club, or maybe just in layman. This is going to be, really good for your skin, hair, whatever that you want to talk about in layman language. Talk about one benefit of that food to your baby. So your baby, in a day that you're eating your 6 meals or 4 meals, if your baby is hearing, say, 4 lines a day, multiplied by, how many days a week and multiplied by your pregnancy, your baby is going to get a lot more connected with the food. फूड कनेक्ट. आप में से कितने जन इंस्टाग्राम, सेल फोन, मोबाइल देख के खाना खाते हैं? That is disconnecting yourself from the food. It is very, very important that you connect yourself with the food, which means no talk and no gadgets. This is what you're even teaching your future generation, because they are going to follow what you're doing. Go back to your roots. This looks like a very simple line, but my entire presentation is going to be based on these roots. What is all this about? Let me dive there straight. So before I begin, nutrition myths, I'm sure you must have heard a lot when you're pregnant, which means that, रसगुल्ला खाओ हर रोज आपको रसगुल्ले जैसा बच्चा आएगा, या फिर, do not eat black things, eat more white things. Coconut, please don't have it. Ghee, eat in abundant. Chiku banana, and I think mango mat khaiye, etc., etc., etc. Most of them are bigger myths. Coming first to your rasgulla. If you eat rasgulla every single day, forget about the baby being a rasgulla, you will definitely become a rasgulla by the end of your pregnancy. So please make sure you don't eat that rasgulla, because the best part about rasgulla is the protein, which you can otherwise get it from other protein sources, which I'm going to discuss in today's class. But remember the sugar quotient. Aap kitna bhi usko nicholo, your rasgulla, it's not going to be devoid of that sugar, how much ever possible. Rather, I would tell you, enjoy your rasgulla once in the month or twice in the month nicely, and rest of the days focus on the protein. Protein has been really important, only not just because you're pregnant, but also if you're on weight loss, also for growing babies, also for old people, also with people with a lot of aches and pains. So every individual who's sitting in this class is going to be benefiting with all the nutrition tips that I'm going to share about. Please remember, what are the no's when you're pregnant to eat? Number 1, papaya, pineapple, and Chinese in the first trimester, by rule, you're not supposed to consume. When you enter your 2nd and 3rd trimester, you can still have your papaya and pineapple, but only thing is they should be ripe enough, they should not be raw, and how much? Around a bowl. Consume it so that you are not constipated. Papaya really helps to get a better cleansing of your system, but remember, it should be ripe and it should be around a bowl. Going ahead with any outside food is actually not good, especially Chinese. So try and curb your outside food as much as possible, because they're usually with preservative chemicals and whatnot. So jitna kam bahar ka khayenge utna acha hai. In case you want to have it, try and not select the Chinese cuisine, because they have MSG, which is Ajinomoto, and a lot of colors and preservatives in their sauces. So try and avoid the Indian Chinese, which is really flavorful. ठीक है? दूसरे जो भी आपने सुना है, रसगुल्ला से लगा के, कोकोनट से, चीकू से, ghee, everything is wrong. Remember, Everything in moderation works well. Anything beyond moderation is a poison, including water. So सब चीज मात्रा में खाइए in moderation and see the benefits that you will soon see, not just with you but even for your baby. I'm sure you'll have a lot of myths that you may have heard. In case you want to ask me, you can drop it on the chat box or hold it on. I'm going to individually talk to all the queries right in the end. This is our wholesome Indian thali. Back then, our roots are so strong that we have balanced our nutrition right through each culture, whether it be roti, sabzi, dal, chawal, dalia, spices, dry fruits, water, fruits, salad, everything is so wholesome in Indian thali. But how and what are the specificities about all these things? I'm going to now break down from here. 5 fingers of nutrition, all of you. Finger number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5th finger, I've already told you about water. We're going to cover up the 4 fingers. Remember, this is not just for pregnant mom. This is for each and every individual because we are what we eat. First, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates जिससे हमें energy मिलती है, which is the base. Protein from where we are growing each cell of our body or what we are repairing each time, every moment, or you're growing an individual inside. So protein is necessary for that. 3, good fats. Good fats are not just necessary in pregnancy, but they're great for baby's brain development later once they start solids. And they're also very important when you're suffering through aches and pains, especially knee joint pain, if I have to mention. Vitamins and minerals. These are something which are only and only available in abundance in fruits and vegetables, not otherwise. And water, as already mentioned, let's dive more into depth. Each and every carbohydrate mentioned here is important. Wheat, rice, jawar, ragi, rajgira, bajra, oats, makai, singoda, sabudana, poha, pasta, whole wheat or multigrain bread, and also what is not mentioned out here is quinoa, which is quite trendy right now, but very, very nutritious. Now, which are the things that you're supposed to have? Which are the things which you're supposed to focus? When you're pregnant, remember ragi, rajgira is the highlight because they are great in iron, calcium, and protein. So ragi is nothing but your nachni, also called as finger millet in English, and in local terms, you may hear ragi or nachni. ठीक है, जो red color का रहता है. It's actually staple to most Maharashtrians, and it is amazing in iron and calcium, as I mentioned. So in a week, try and consume ragi at least twice. Rajgira, it's an upvas food जो fasting में Indians खाते हैं. So this upvas flour is again excellent in calcium and protein. Consume it twice in the week. So ये दोनों आप ध्यान से twice in the week, और दूसरे सब क्या करेंगे? Shuffle करते रहिए. जैसे winters आ गए हैं अभी. So makai, bajra would be excellent to consume in winters, but you can't do so when you're in summers. So whatever we have been eating traditionally, follow that. Specific mentions about oats and quinoa. These are very trendy, not very culturally grounded to us, but nutritionally great. They are rich source of protein. So for all those people who are worried about the protein quantity and the entire, being a vegetarian, if you're balancing it well or not, remember these are great sources. Even people who are weightlifters, going to gym, you want to balance it more nutritionally, do not want to consume protein powders, you can still balance it well. So remember all these tips which I'm going to give about. Here I go ahead with oats. There are 3 kinds of oats available in the market. One is the instant oats, masala oats जो आपने सुना होगा. Number 2 is rolled oats. And number 3 is steel cut oats. Now, which oats to consume? You consume any oats, but do not consume the quick oats. जो masala oats रहता है, वो मत आप consume करिए. Otherwise, rolled oats या steel cut oats, both are good. Quinoa, there is no variety. There's just one simple thing. You can make a khichdi out of a quinoa. So please remember quinoa, if I have to pronounce because the name is not written, it's Quinoa. 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 So these are some important millets and cereals which I was mentioning about. Now we dive into, jawar. I forgot to mention about jawar. Jawar is for all those Weight Watchers. Now, you cannot diet in pregnancy, but in case you have already put on a lot of weight and your doctor is already, putting you by the weight machine that what is this? Every time you're increasing your weight, and if you have abundantly increased your weight, then remember jawar is the key. Consume more of jawar roti as much as possible in the week. Get your weight into balance. Of course, there are a couple of things that you should be eliminating, which I'm going to talk in good fat section. But remember, this would help you to balance and stabilize your weight. All right. So this was all about carbohydrates, जिससे आपको energy मिलती है. एक और बात, bread. Bread is great if consumed from the right sauce. There are two kinds of breads. One are industrial breads, जो large scale पे मिलते हैं, जैसे कि Britannia या Wibs, etc. Right? And one is home baked. Anything which is home baked is genuine in my opinion. So find out जो घर पे बनाते हैं home breads, whole wheat breads या multigrain breads, आपको occasionally relish करना है तो वहां से आप मंगा के खाइए over these industrialized produced breads. All right. So this was all about carbs that I had to communicate. No refined grains. So refined grain में क्या आता है आपका मैदा. Correct. So मैदे को जितना आप कम खाएंगे उतना बेटर है. जितना होल ग्रेन खाएंगे उतना आपके लिए, आपके बच्चे के लिए, आपकी फैमिली के लिए बेहतर है. So stop refined and start consuming whole grain. Go back to our basics. हमारे बाप दादा मैदा नहीं खाते थे इतना. Occasionally खाते थे, वो भी पूरी वगैरह में या फरसान में. That was occasional. हमारा उल्टा हो गया. Now I go to finger number 2. Why and which protein? Now why is already been communicated. Protein हर एक चीज के लिए जरूरी है. And especially when you have a growing baby inside, protein is mandatory. I'm sure most of you, if you're pregnant, have been put already on protein powders by a doctor because they believe आप खाने पे ध्यान रखो नहीं रखो, तो it is better you take protein powder. In my opinion, if you balance the diet out well, which I'm going to talk about now, you don't require any protein powders. I go here with non-vegetarian protein or vegetarian protein. Whatever you consume, you can still balance it. If you're eating non-veg, please remember, do not exceed more than twice a week. And also please make sure you do not consume anything which is sea related. Eat more freshwater, fishes, or have, free range eggs, जहाँ पे chicken को या hen को बांधा नहीं रखते हैं, वो लोग घूम सकते हैं. So free range eggs that you should consume and prefer more of fishes over any other meat. All right. I go to now vegetarian options. Are vegetarians, they have to compulsory consume protein powders? No. If you're following this, now what is this? An egg has 9 essential amino acids. If I have to put it in layman term, एक egg में 9 properties रहती है. वो 9 properties आपके हर एक दाल में छिपी हुई है. For example, tuvar will have one thing, masoor will have second, moong will have third, urad will have one thing, chana, rajma, chole, lobia, kalat. If I have to go on and on, I can go on minimum 10 names. So which means you're supposed to have every single day a different dal. Is that very clear? If you're a family who's only having rajma or chole or moong or tuvar 5 times in the week, you need to change that. You need to put up a schedule Monday to Sunday. None of the dals will repeat, and even for the next week, none of them would repeat. So likewise, make sure that every amino acid profile is going in your body and helping you and the baby both. So this was all about your protein. Number 2 is soaking is essential. I can see certain videos turning off. You can just put them on, would be really appreciated. All of you, those who were off from the beginning, started. I'm sure you're listening to me, and I would want the feedback with your facial expressions. So tip in protein number 2 is please soak your dals. It is very, very important for you to soak your dals because if you want the better protein value and number 2 better digestibility, तो उसको करीबन 1 से 9 घंटे के बीच में सोखना है. Which means smaller your dal, smaller or lesser the time of soaking, and bigger, for example, rajma, chole, lobia, then more soaking, which is between 8 to 12 hours. All right. Whenever you soak dal, please remember to remove the water out and then cook it with the next water. It is also very important that you're supposed to mix this with either rice or either roti or any other carbohydrate source for you to get the right kind of class 1 protein quality. So this was a tip on protein. These are protein banks like rotating dals, dairy and dairy products, Rajgira quinoa oats, seeds, nuts, and sprouts. If you consume all of them on a regular basis, you don't require any protein powders unless your doctor suggests because your baby is not growing well or you have some health complication, only then. Otherwise, no need, just stick on to this. Now I go to seeds and nuts. little specifically. Seeds, you can prepare the seed mukwas. Everybody can relish this in your family, but especially you. It is a mix of 4 seeds. You can write it down. First is your pumpkin seed. Second is your watermelon seeds. I believe you all are noting it down. Third is your sunflower seed. And fourth is your flax seeds. Flax, also called as alsi in local term. I'll repeat again. Pumpkin, sunflower, watermelon, and flax. Now, all seeds, what is the quantity? So, for example, 10 grams of pumpkin, 10 grams of sunflower, 10 grams of watermelon, then 5 grams of flax seeds. Because flax seeds are great in omega-3 fatty acids, great for your baby's brain development, but they are a little heating to the body. So, you cannot consume it in too much quantity. You're going to mix all of them. Usme aap nimbu, haldi. If you want a pinch of salt, just mix it. Wo soggy ho jayega. Put it on slow flame, roast it nicely, let it cool down, put it in an airtight container, and this is good to go. This is your pregnancy mukwas you should be having every day between 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon, depending on how much weight you've already put on, because they're a rich source of good fats also, apart from having protein inside. All right. As I mentioned, it's not just for you, it's for anybody in the family. So make sure you make this mukwas and keep it quite handy to you. Nuts. Anything which is hard, cashew में कोई cholesterol नहीं होता है, just to bust that myth, okay? Cashew, unsalted pistachios, almond, walnut, जो कड़क चीज होती है, they are great source of protein. जो soft चीज होती है, उसमें इतना protein नहीं रहता है. So try and consume the harder nuts. I'm not saying don't consume the softer nuts, because we're talking about protein. I'm highlighting the nuts here. Sprouts, anything which you germinate, sprouted, becomes excellent source of protein again. So that's your protein bank. I'm sure you have enough to have every single day to balance your protein well. Which vitamins and minerals is something that I've borrowed from Rujuta Divekar. I should give her the credits, because she is really promoting this a lot, traditional, local, seasonal, and homemade. I think that is something which is very, very important to each one of you. Please remember, जितना आप ये खाएंगे उतना better है. Additional tip, आपको दिन में 5 से 7 कलर खाने चाहिए. Between 5 to 7 colors that you should be consuming. Now, how is that possible? Simple. Take a book pen, make 3 columns in your page. Column number 1, column number 2, and column number 3. Label them. Put column number 1 name as green color family, column number 2 as red, orange, yellow color family, and column number 3 would be others. I'll repeat again, 3 columns, green color family, red, orange, yellow color family, and others. Now, you and your husband or your family members just sit after the session, put down all the things which are fruits and vegetables of these colors, and you'll have so many things, of which whatever is in season, you're going to pick up 2 from each, and you easily come to around 6. So between 5 and 7 colors, आपको दिन में खाने चाहिए, which comes from fruits and vegetables. जितने ज़्यादा color खाओगे, उतना better आपका vitamin and mineral profile. All right. Remember to only have seasonal and local. Do not have your kiwis and do not have those avocados from outside, and no fancy apples from New Zealand. जो आपके आसपास मिलता है, छोटे छोटे संतरे मिलता है, सब बड़ा बड़ा संतरा, big size grapes, वो नहीं लीजिए. Local fruits which are very tiny but very local to you, consume them, please. Does fat in pregnancy make you fat, or does fat otherwise make you fat? Now that depends on what kind of fats are you eating, good fats or bad fats. So good fats खाओगे तो आपको फायदा ही फायदा है, भले आप pregnant हो कि नहीं हो, और bad fats खाओगे तो सबको नुकसान है. Bad fats में क्या आता है? Cheese, ice cream, fried foods, packaged foods, biscuits, gathia papadi, chips, and whatnot. Everything comes right there. I come here to good fats option: oils, nuts, seeds, dry fruits, and dairy. Now, oil बहुत important है. जैसे मैंने आपको कहा, I assume everybody is listening. I may not know. Can I have a quick, this thing reminder? Please start your videos. Would really love each one of you to start your videos so that I know whether you're following my session or not. Would love to see faces. Thank you. Slowly and gradually, certain videos are starting on. Thank you. So oils is all about आपका basics में जाना है आपको, which is कच्ची घानी के तेल. Again, what is kachi ghani ka tel? Is it only sarson ka tel? Absolutely not. You can have kachi ghani in anything, in almost anything. Now, when I say kachi ghani, you may hear this word called as cold pressed oils, all right? Or, wood crushed, stone crushed, ये सब fancy other names है, वो कुछ नहीं है, but कच्ची घानी के तेल आपके. So ये जो cold pressed oils है, आपको घुमाना है, मतलब अलग अलग cold pressed oils खाने हैं, and make sure that you have cold pressed and no refined, which means no Saffola, no Gemini, no Healthy Tasty. These are all refined oils which are not great for not just you, but anybody in the family, whether it be a person with hypertension, diabetes, PCOS, thyroid, pregnancy, non-pregnancy, whatever is the phase. Please remember, go back to cold pressed oils, number 1. Number 2 is nuts और seeds के बारे में बताया, जिसमें good fats भी और protein भी है. Dry fruits में काफी good fat है, which is dates and your raisins and apricots, all those things. And last is dairy and dairy products. So ये सब आपको general basis पे consume करना है, so that you know that you're consuming right amount of nutrition. So yes, refined तेल को बंद कर दीजिए. अब एक बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन ये भी है, डेयरी में खाऊं कि नहीं खाऊं? There are so many people who are turning into vegan, right? Because cruelty है, hormones है, antibiotics है, तो क्या करूं? Now, firstly, from nutrition viewpoint, dairy is an excellent source of calcium and protein. All right. If I talk about, say, particularly curd, then even as a probiotic, which even Saloni was mentioning right in the beginning, right gut foods. So, curd is one of those. But let me talk about the other side also. Yes, the industry is growing, the demand is growing, and the entire cattle breed is being injected with so many hormones for better supply, for commercially making it viable, etc. Which in a way, अगर उनको hormones जा रहे तो हमें भी जाएंगे. So it is very important कि आप देसी गाय search करिए. The best thing is अपनी खुद की गाय होनी चाहिए, but in case you can't find that, which is not practical in a city, you better, source on to right, desi गाय suppliers, and unka दूध पीजिए, which is not milavati. If you can find that, go ahead with dairy. If you're not sure, you can just balance it with other things also. You all can quickly take pictures of this. It's pregnancy special. I'm going to hold on for 5 seconds. And you can just take a quick click of this. It is like calcium किस में रहता है, omega-3 किस में रहता है, iron, vitamin C, folic acid, zinc, magnesium, all these things किस में rich हैं, those are mentioned out here. You can consume it. Just once, 2 things that I would like to highlight is olive, जहाँ पे मैंने triple mark किया हुआ है. Olive is excellent source of iron, but remember in pregnancy आप उसको ज़्यादा नहीं खा सकते हैं because वो गर्म पड़ता है. After giving birth is a super food when you're breastfeeding and recovering. So pregnancy में थोड़ा संभल के try not consuming it. If you're consuming it, just bare minimum. And यहाँ पे मैंने लिखा है cauliflower leaves. What are cauliflower leaves? जो फूल गोभी आती है आपकी cauliflower, उसकी जो पत्ते रहते हैं, they are great source of iron and calcium. Winters are coming and the leaves would be better as compared to what they used to come in rainy season. So get them, उसको wash करिए, उसको अपने पालक पनीर में डालिए, थेपला में डालिए, पराठा में डालिए, सूप में डालिए, जिधर भी डालना डालिए, उसमें iron calcium बहुत rich है. All right, so this is all about.
Isha, sorry to interrupt you, but just for the other members who are listening in who are non-pregnant, these sources are general for everybody, right? Not just for pregnant.
Absolutely. So whatever tips I'm giving is a generic nutrition tip, highlighting a little more about pregnancy because there are some mums, and hence I'm saying that, olive, just make sure you don't have it. All right. So yes, this is a generic, nutritional presentation which everybody can, just implement in the daily diet. So this was all about pregnancy special. I believe everybody's clicked the photo by now. Only for pregnant mamas, trimester 1, 2, and 3 special, vitamin B6, beta carotene, vitamin E, and vitamin K. At the count of 5, I'll change the slide so you can just click it. All right, and here I go ahead with the next one. Just remember, if you don't pre-plan, nothing is going to be helpful. Baby communication, for all those who are suffering through digestion issues, who are suffering through constipation, gas, खाने के बाद वज्रासन में बैठिए. Unless you have knee pain, don't sit. Otherwise, any phase of your life, please sit in Vajrasan position and be there for how much ever you can, maximum till 5 to 10 minutes, minimum is few seconds. Try and consume your food in cross-legged sitting. मतलब dining पे बैठ के खाना मत खाइए, नीचे जमीन पे बैठिए, fold your legs and eat your food. Till this date, me and my daughters, we sit down on the floor and we eat our food. And squat, incorporate squat in your routine for better defecation. जो constipation का issue है, वो हमारे टॉयलेट सिस्टम का इशू है, क्योंकि हम सब इंडियन कमोड को छोड़ दिया है और हमने वेस्टर्न कमोड अपना लिया है. सो इफ यू कैन नॉट चेंज योर टॉयलेट, यू बेटर स्क्वाट थ्रू द डे सो दैट यू गेट बेटर मोशंस. Drink your food. That means chew your food so much that you just have to drink it, and eat your water, which means बहुत fast पानी मत पीजिए, sip by sip पानी पीजिए. All right, so drink your food and eat your water. I am done with this. It is just that in case anybody who is pregnant and is undergoing all these issues like anemia, constipation, acidity, nausea, and not just pregnant, I think there are so many who must be, I'm sure, having acidity issue for sure. These are the tips which I've written here. You can just click a photo of it and you can just implement very common pointers, basic pointers you can understand, self-explanatory. And at the count of 5, I'm going to change before I take up the questions. So I believe you all have clicked. Would request all of you to be on mute. Thank you. And here I end up. So as Saloni was mentioning right in the beginning, that I own 3 companies, one of which is THOUGHTFOODZ. Because I'm a nutritionist and because I deal with a lot of clients who are really focusing on right kind of nutrition, that which is a right source of oil, right source of this. I co-founded this company in lockdown, and this is all about healthy eating. Go ahead and check it out. The goods are available pan-India. You can just order it from the website. Things like cold-pressed oils, therapeutic oils, Bellona ghee, pulses, healthy puffs. These are great ragi puffs and multigrain puffs, quinoa, protein peanut powder, honey jaggery, Himalayan pink salt, kulkand, and even post-birth special. Once you give birth, your recovery foods, your foods to give it to your baby, you know, the homemade Cerelac, which is like the Sattu Mavu, everything is available. Most of the things are curated at our home under my mother-in-law's supervision and my nutritional guidelines, and they are available on THOUGHTFOODZ. And these are 9 tips for 9 months, which are available on our YouTube channel in detail in case you want to go ahead. Our YouTube channel is Proactive 9. This is only for those who are pregnant. So Proactive 9 is the YouTube channel that you can go across through, and you can get a bank of information even there. And yes, you can reach out to me personally in case you want to have any queries about any physiotherapy, any pregnancy related, any post-pregnancy, any nutritional related issues. Then the first number is mine. You can reach out to me, or you can reach out to me on this email address or the email address which was mentioned right in the beginning. There are 2 email addresses. And yes, I end the class here. I think there are a lot of questions, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go through. Saloni, should I go ahead and take up questions? Or?
So I actually have a whole list of questions which we have been collecting over the past 1 week from all our community pages. And I would like to start off with that. First of all, thank you for this informative session. I have attended multiple sessions with you, and I seem to learn a lot more each time I attend them. So thank you for that. And there was a lot of vital information that you gave out, which answered a lot of questions, which I've already taken it down. However, there were a lot of questions which I think keep bothering all of us as we try to do the best for our families. We want them to eat the very best. I mean, there is a lot of stuff available, but what do we choose? How do we choose? And that is always a tussle for parents in general, who are trying to eat healthy and give their kids healthy. So the few questions that we have collected is, first of all, there is a whole debate regarding how do you know whether you or your child is lactose intolerant? So what are your suggestions on that?
Okay, see, lactose intolerant has been more generalized now, Saloni, which is like, everybody's been reading about it and they get panicked and they feel, I'm lactose intolerant. So unless you don't get it tested, do not please believe into that. But what are the common signs that you would see is bloating. That's the very basic thing, that after consuming any dairy product, I feel bloated. I feel indigestion. For some, it can also be diarrhea. For some, it can be, gas, which can be troubling. So these are certain things that you should be looking out for. In case it's a child who is suffering through this, you should be consulting your pediatrician for the same and get the required investigation done before labeling the person to be lactose intolerant and, moving ahead. If you are somebody who is an adult, go to your physician and, the same thing can be proceeded further. But please do not just read up. For example, you may be somebody who's not drinking enough water. You may be somebody who's having a lot of gap between your meals. You may be somebody who's having otherwise junk, and then you blame it everything into the dairy, which is wrong. You cannot be lactose intolerant in that sense. So get your first, entire day nutrition proper, and then see if dairy is the culprit for you or not. Does that answer the question, Saloni?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. And since we're recording this session, it will be available on our YouTube channel for everybody who has asked it. They can get access to it. Another vital question from our communities was that for a breastfeeding mother, how many calories are necessary, additional calories are necessary each day?
Okay, so for a breastfeeding mom, on an average, it is between 400 to 500 kilocalories that she requires. So in fact, if I have to mention, you require a little less calorie when you're pregnant, but you require much more when you're breastfeeding. So yes, eat according to your appetite in pregnancy. Do not eat for two because you don't require so many. In the beginning, the first trimester, you barely require anything. Right when you reach your third trimester, you require around 300 to 350 calories, which increases to 400 to 500 when you're breastfeeding.
Thank you, doctor. And another thing which is a very hot topic is that while cooking mediums, like which oils, how many oils should we be keeping, whether we should cook in ghee, whether extra virgin oil is compatible for our Indian cooking. So in the kitchen setup, what are the oils that you recommend should be handy at all point of time?
All right. So a very vital question again. Most of the people are confused about this, so I'm glad this question has come up. Ideally, you need to remember first, as I've mentioned, the baseline. You should be using only cold-pressed oil, in my opinion, and do not eat refined oils. Now, which cold-pressed oil? There are a variety of cold-pressed oils available in our culture, starting from groundnut, safflower, sesame oil, mustard oil, and even coconut oil. And also, how can we forget our ghee? So first thing first, keep ghee and oil in equal proportion, which means certain things in ghee and certain things in oil. I see people going mad with ghee, just everything in ghee and nothing in oil. And I see people just going the reverse side. Both are wrong. Keep a moderation of both these things in your diet. Again, dairy is tricky, so make sure your ghee that you're procuring is from the right place and not any other ghee. Now I take up the question about oil. If you say doing your sabzis, bhindi hai aapka, gobi hai, koi bhi sabzi aap bana rahe ho, shuffle between groundnut and safflower. Now, when I'm mentioning just groundnut and safflower, the base term cold pressed groundnut and cold pressed safflower is mandatory. So shuffle between these two. मतलब कभी आपने groundnut में कर लिया, कभी आपने safflower में कर लिया, या month of January groundnut आया, month of February safflower आया. You can shuffle like that also, or on a regular basis also. Now I go ahead with tawa items. What do we cook on tawa? Thepla, uttappa, parantha, chila, anything that we cook on tawa, you should be doing it with sesame oil, white or black, up to you. Sesame oil, white sesame is great in calcium, black sesame is great in iron. All right, you can shuffle also between them. There are certain things which turn out fabulous in mustard oil. For example, apple god ka sabji, which is tinsy ka sabji, or a Gujarati dish called as gheria or khichu, or you have your aloo ka sabzi, which turns out really nice when you cook in mustard oil. So mustard oil for certain cuisines. And I come up with coconut oil. You have your certain, like you want to make banana chips. Chips have been dreaded, but my kids also love chips, and sometimes I prefer making homemade chips and giving it to them, which is much more healthier and better as compared to the outside packet chips. So whenever you have to fry something or do something like a South Indian dish, go ahead and use a coconut oil. So I think you should never get a 5 liter of can and just that refined oil and use it, but maybe 1-2 liters and keep shuffling is what is the answer. If I go back to even the most common like olive oil or rice bran oil, or I think one more, I forgot, what was that? Canola oil. These are all refined oils. even if you take up say olive oil, being extra virgin, you need to understand olive oil India में नहीं बनता है, ठीक है, वो बाहर से import होता है. So by the time it is imported, the shelf life goes away. Again, the amount of demand of olive oil is so high, so there is lot of adulteration and malpractices going on, which has been reported. So why you want to really go crazy and follow the West? Use your brains and just follow the Indian culture. I mean, I can go on and on about this, but that was the entire reason why we developed THOUGHTFOODZ, because cold pressed oil was really confused all about. So we have all these things on THOUGHTFOODZ, what I was mentioning. In case anybody wants a brush up, you can go to THOUGHTFOODZ Instagram page and you can just have an entire clarification on this again. Saloni, I went too elaborate about this.
Not at all. This was very helpful. And the link for ThoughtFoods has been updated in the chat box. So everybody can have a look at that. We'll take the next question, which we've gotten via Zoom, which is which of the foods would help post-delivery hair loss?
Oh, lovely. So there are so many foods which will help you. Firstly, I mean, I've again done total 4 videos on hair care rehabilitation on ThoughtFoods again, which are quite in description, giving you a summary right here. It's not important about just what you eat, but it is also important on what you apply and how you take care of your body. So first thing first, make sure you're not deficient in certain things. Specific mention to hemoglobin, vitamin D3, and also your B12. So these, if they are deficient, then you'll have severe hair fall issues. So make sure if you're deficient, you better get it nutritionally corrected, or you make sure that you're supplementing those. Now I come back to your food. Things that I mentioned about protein, all your protein sources in today's class, starting from all different dal, seeds, nuts, dairy, rajgira, quinoa, oats. These are all protein. This is nothing but your protein. So please make sure that you have enough protein in your diet, whether you're pregnant, whether you're not pregnant. That was step 2 towards better hair. Step 3, oil. There is a smart combination that I've curated at ThoughtFooDZ, which is a mix of 4 oils, which are all cold pressed, from alsi to badam to coconut to almond. These are intelligent mix which helps you to nourish. Now, especially for breastfeeding mothers, especially for people who had beautifully hair earlier, but now they feel that what has happened to my hair suddenly, is something that you should be nourishing your hair, because your genes have those, but you've lost it because of certain things that you've not taken care throughout. And I'm sure everybody can relate to this, that you had fabulous hair when you were a child, when your mama used to do chumpy to you. And now as you've forgotten the chumpys all over the years, because now we go to colleges or we go to offices or we don't have time or we are a mother, we forget the chumpy. And chumpy is a must. Twice in a week. I do myself, my kids, every time. Twice a week. Chumpy is a must. When I say chumpy, is oil massaging. And that oil massage should stimulate your hair nicely. Like, you stimulate each strand, massage your neck, because the stress hormones also, initiate to hair fall. Olive seeds are fantastic for hair, okay? Olive seeds, also called as garden cress seeds. In Gujarati, they say halim. In Marwadi, they say aryo. So Maharashtrians would call adal. So these are different names to garden cress seeds. आप या तो उसको कंज्यूम करें या तो उसको अपने तेल में डाल के लगाइए and see the fantastic results with your hair. And last but not the least, if you just do everything, but if you keep on doing all treatments to your hair, from rebonding to using dye and coloring to using chemical loaded shampoos and conditioner, forget about getting a great hair. So go back. Just to share, I use baby shampoos and I nourish my hair with curd and very natural stuff, and that's why they are breathing nicely. So let your hair breathe. Yes, that's all. 4 steps to great hair, and not just what you eat.
Doctor, does this also hold true for all the COVID hair, post-COVID hair loss that people are experiencing?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, because that is also a very, very rampant problem that everybody literally is complaining of, so much hair loss post-COVID. Yes. So the same steps apply to that as well.
Let's try this So in application, the Wonder Hair Oil of ThoughtFooDZ. Number 2, what to eat, I've mentioned already. How to take care and make sure you're not deficient in those particular things. All right.
Right. The next question we got is that what kind of food do you suggest should be consumed by a postpartum mother?
All right. Postpartum mother, firstly, you need to understand that most of you who are present here are Indians. So our Indian culture has this jhapa period, जहाँ पे हमको रोटी दी जाती है, बहुत सारा green vegetable दिया जाता है, lot of dal, and your entire day's eating is just revolving around this, it is fantastic. Stick to homemade food, stick to these balanced nutrition, because protein is high in the dals, your vitamin mineral is high in your green vegetables, your carbs are coming from your roti, or make sure that when you're having your roti, it should be millet roti. Avoid गेहूं का roti, have jawar, ragi, rajgira. शाम को मन कर रहा है तो किनवा ओट्स का खिचड़ी बना दिया, दो वो हमारे कल्चर में प्रेजेंट नहीं है, बट दे आर स्ट्रांगली हाई इन न्यूट्रिशन. सो यू कैन जस्ट डू अ मिक्स एंड मैच ऑफ व्हाट टॉट इन द क्लास. Additionally, do not forget your laddus, your cultural laddus. If you're a Punjabi, then Panjari. If you are from South, then coconut. If you're from, a Marwadi family or a Gujarati family, your combination of laddu would be different. If you're Maharashtrian, it would be a lifche laddu. So whatever is your culture, please consume that, and that's going to be really helpful to you, not just for breastfeeding, but also for your recovery and getting the best nutrients to your child. So yes, your laddus, your cultural food, stay away from junk, and additionally don't forget the mukwas, the pregnancy mukwas or the generic mukwas that I talked about. उसमें एक चीज ऐड कर दीजिए, उसका नाम है dill seeds, DILL, dill. In local language it's called as suwa. So dill seeds आप ऐड कर लीजिए, और सौंफ भी ऐड कर लीजिए, which would be great for your recovery. Yes, Saloni.
Yes, so those are the questions that I've got. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, we can end the session then.
Have you checked all the chat questions which are present? I think some 90
Yes.
notifications I can see.
No, the notifications were, we were just updating the points of whatever you were talking, picture, all of that. So the questions I have covered. Let me just go through in case anything has been left.
One important thing which I forgot to mention is water. Water you cannot eliminate, especially when you're post pregnancy, and especially this comes in many cultures. So most of our cultures are beautiful, but there is because I'm a Marwadi, I know myself that in Marwadi they say do not drink water after giving birth, otherwise आपका पेट लटक जाएगा. Absolutely wrong. If you don't drink water, your piles will sag down, is what I always say. Please remember, drink enough water after giving birth. Do not curb that.
Yeah. And the last question, which is a very popular, actually it's a very vast question, but if you could just give us a quick tip on at 6 months of age, when you are starting weaning for a baby, just a few quick tips on initiating weaning.
You actually just hit the right point. I mean, in fact, I have a session today at 4, and it goes on for almost 3 hours today, 4 to 5:30, and tomorrow 4 to 5:30. But any which ways, yes, it's very important. I love our cultures, but there are certain things which people get confused about. So first thing first, do not start juices and dal ka pani and moong ka pani is wrong practices. This is the only traditional practice that I don't like, and there is a valid reason why am I saying this. But just to summarize, do not give dal ka pani, moong ka pani, no juices. Please wait for the readiness of your child to start solids. There are 4 signs of starting solids. Number 1, your child should get neck control independently. Number 2, your child should be sitting with or without support. So independent sitting is not mandatory. With or without support, आपका बच्चा बैठना चाहिए. So many times, Saloni, I've seen people, the parents are making the baby lie down and they just put the food inside the baby system. Absolutely incorrect. Please make them sit. Number 3 is your child should show interest in the food. So whenever you're presenting, the child should not run away from it or should not look at the food. Rather, your child should be looking with a lot of interest, try to take it, salivating. And the 4th sign is your child should have lost the tongue thrust reflex, which means your child should accept it and not push it back. If these 4 signs are met, then you start with your solids. To summarize, you start solids with blended food, which is, your fruit puree, vegetable puree. These are the first 15 days foods that I recommend always, fruits or vegetables for the first 15 days. The next 15 days, you should be starting with moong dal, ARF. What is an ARF? If you want to check the detailed recipe, you can go to THOUGHTFOODZ, where I've mentioned about amylase-rich flour, wherein you take ragi, you sprout it, you powder it, and that food is a super food which is accepted by even WHO, accepted by Indian School of Pediatrics, and even accepted, not accepted, being curated by our cultures long back. So जो आप नाचनी का sprout करके powder बनाते हैं, that is fantastic to begin solids with. Beyond that, आप जैसे जैसे progress करते जाएंगे, you need to remember that 6 months is blended food, 7th month is a semi-blended food, and 8th month onwards, you should be going close to family foods, which means roti, sabzi, everything in bit-sized pieces, dip it in dal. Give a lot of baby-led weaning, let the child eat on their own, and that is how you get the baby to eating family foods by the time they turn 10 months of age. So starting from 6 months, but how they get into family foods by 10 months is under your control. And last but not the least, please do not use gadgets or toys or books or any other tantrums or plays that is going around the baby while eating food. Because what I've seen, Saloni, in my practice, more so I counsel parents to not do these things, because उनको क्या है, just for that moment, let me make my child, मेरा बच्चा जितना खाएगा उतना better. It's wrong. You're just dumping the food inside the system. They're not absorbing this well, and it is very very important for them to absorb it. So आप भी और आपकी फैमिली को भी और अपने बच्चे को भी बिना स्क्रीन्स के खाना खिलाइए, एंड अगर वो थोड़ा एक रोटी कम भी खा लेंगे वो बेटर है as compared to eating 3 rotis while watching TV or anything else.
So that's a very, very valid point. I mean, we are all a bit guilty of doing all of this, but yes, it is something definitely to ponder on. So I think that sums up our questions and our session with you. It was truly informative. We've learned a lot. We've taken down pointers, which I shall share over all the ReeLab communities with due credit to you, so that everybody can benefit from these little changes that we can make in our diets, which can, just generally give us more energy, give us a better frame of mind while functioning through the day. So thank you so much, Dr. Isha, and we really hope that we can have you back soon for another session. And I'm sure this was helpful to everybody who's here. All your details, contact details will be put on have already been put on the chat box, and we shall be sharing it over all the community pages as well.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, ReeLabs, and letting the word out, because I love helping, and you've become a channel for me to help others. So I really had a great time imparting the experience and knowledge that I've gathered. But I think you should take it further and implement it for this session to be helpful. I can say a lot of thank yous, and I'm really happy to know this. All the very best to each one of you.
Thank you, Dr. Isha.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.
All
Yeah.
the best.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.